Hey ladies, so as you know, this month on the Pearl Press, we are talking about flourishing. That's our word for the month, and we've all been sharing lots of different ways of what that looks like in our lives and what that's meant to us in our relationship with Christ. So I have this weird obsession with bamboo plant, and I don't know if any of you have ever seen that, but I'm going to show you. Look, visual aid right here. This is one of my bamboo plants that is growing in my house. And the thing is, I really love having green things in my house. I love to have plants and I love to have flowers. The unfortunate thing is I'm not very good at keeping them alive. I don't usually succeed, and all the plants I've bought this year, several of them have already died, so that is sad. But for some reason, I can keep bamboo plants alive. And so I love them because they're green and they are lovely and simple, and they fill my house with that little bit of something green I want, but that I can also manage. And what's cool about bamboo plants is literally all you have to do is bring them home and put them in some kind of container with water, and they keep growing. They won't stop growing. They will grow and grow and grow and have leaves, and they will thrive. And literally all you have to do is when you notice the water is getting low, you refill it. So you're probably wondering why I'm talking to you about bamboo plants. Well, normally when I get a bamboo plant, what I do is I'll fill the bottom with like some pretty rocks or, something decorative that I can have around my house. But this time, for some reason, I decided to just fill the vase with water because they don't really need the rocks or anything. They actually just need the water. And I have been so fascinated watching these plants make roots in nothing but water. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see. You see this? They just root themselves in water. They literally put their roots down and bloom where they're planted, which is in a simple vase of water. Now, the reason I love this so much, and the reason it has anything to do with Flourish, I promise I'm about to tell you, is that these plants flourish with transparency. And I love that. Like most plants, their roots and their growth and all of that stuff is happening underneath something. It's happening underneath this layer of dark soil, and it's almost hidden. The growth is hidden. You don't see the growth and what's happening in the root system. You only see what's happening on the surface and above the surface. And what I love about these little bamboo plants and the fact that they grow in just a little vase of water is that I get to see below the surface. I get to see everything that's happening with their root system and how their root system is taking shape and forming. And it makes the beauty of this plant, to me, even more spectacular because I get to see what's happening to make the growth happen. And I guess what's cool about that to me is that something that's really become important to me in my life through the last few years is just authenticity and transparency in my walk with Christ. Because I think so many times as Christians, one of the off-putting things about us is that we just give this facade that everything is together and everything is going right and that we can handle anything and nothing will take us down. And I think that is off-putting to people because they never are seeing what's happening below the surface. We are only letting people see what's happening above the surface and the struggle or the root system or what's happening really down in the nitty-gritty of things they never see. And so I think that we expect people to jump on board with this idea when they don't even know what's making it possible and they can't see the growth happening that's producing the results that are in front of them. And so somehow to them, it must be fake because if they can't see what's going on below that surface, there must be something you're hiding. So the reason I show you this is because in my life over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, actually ever since my dad passed away, I have found how much I have flourished in my walk with Christ and in my relationships through transparency, through being willing to let people see below that surface, for not just presenting the final result and the polished result, but starting to let people see what's actually going on underneath and how are my roots taking shape and what is Christ doing in my life and how is he changing me and what is he changing in me. And so I just really wanted to give you that image because I think that for me, flourishing has meant working on transparency and authenticity and working on being real with people and not hiding below that soil and that dirt what's happening, but letting people see it and letting people into my root system and letting them see how I'm growing and how I'm developing. So today I just wanted to put that out there for you, just kind of a cool visual image like this bamboo plant. You know, let your underneath be seen. Let people see what's going on and let people see the changes and the growth that's happening. Because I think sometimes that scares us. If people see what needs to change in us, they won't like us, or they'll judge us or whatever. But really, I think in truth, the more that people can see below the surface and the more that you let people see that you are changing and you are growing, I actually think we become more relatable. And then we begin to flourish in our relationship with Christ that way. And we begin to flourish in our relationships with other people because we're not doing all of our growing and changing below a surface and hidden away. We're letting that be seen. And I think that speaks volumes, because when we're transparent with Christ, also when we're letting him see what's going on below the surface and we're letting him into that space in us, he can do all the greater work and all the greater change. So today I would just encourage I mixed encourage and flourish, but I would encourage you to grow today in transparency. You know, be wise and be guarded with who you share what with, of course. You know, we always have to have boundaries in our lives, but in general, I think that transparency will go a long way, and it's gonna help you in your relationships, it's gonna help you in your walk with Christ, and I think you'll be amazed at the outcome and the more beautiful the growth is because you were willing to expose those roots in that process and that growth. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, and would love to hear some comments, would love to hear some feedback, and of course, just keep telling us what's helping you flourish and what's helping you grow.